Hi Collective, welcome to my channel, Crystal Shadow Work. Hi everyone. So this reading is definitely going to be for all of the chosen ones, 144,000 light workers, starseed, earth angels, healers, shamans, whatever you may define yourself as. But if you're here, then you are very much a light bringer, a light keeper, a carrier of the light of some sort. You're definitely here helping with the upliftment of humanity, okay? You need to know that, as one of my missions here is to help awaken and enlighten and help guide the chosen into their paths to really stand up at this time, to come together. Oh, I forgot twin flames too, because twin flames, you guys, you're chosen ones as well. That's why you have these profound missions. That's why you have a twin, or the journey, because it's like the backup plan, like the trigger, like that's what's helping push and pull on you to spiritually ascend, to wake up to knowing that your divinity, to go after your divine life path and purpose, to open you up to your mission. And I got that now, guys. Like, I'm just so excited because, guys, this 3D matrix is very challenging, and to navigate through it, especially when you come from a place where you have toxic family members and toxicities that you surround yourself with. If you can't distance yourself from that, you're constantly getting pulled down, and you're not able to see the truth and clarity. And then you're getting into that 3D energy, the lower vibrational, fear, anxiety, worry, and it's kind of making you doubt your abilities and your gifts and your missions and your passions. And guys, like, I feel like I've been going through my spiritual awakening since I was 30. So 7 years now, I've been working on this, and I constantly felt as though I kept getting pulled down, sucked down. And, but let me tell you, like, it took me getting this strong empowerment to really go after my passions, to really go after my dreams. And when I did that is when I thought for sure that I had found my twin, right? But then I was still second guessing that, even though I knew that all of a sudden I was advancing further along in my spiritual awakening than I had thought. More just that I was still kind of going back and forth, even though all of these abilities and gifts and things were coming about, and I was starting to really see myself. I was really starting to see all of the things that I needed to change about myself. It's like, so if something irritated me, it would irritate my twin, so he'd call me out on my stuff if I was doing it. And a lot of times it was always like, I'd even be like, is this a mirror right now? Because you're calling me out on something that I don't like. And we'd have a lot of these conversations sometimes. We'd be going back and forth, and I'd be sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, look at this duality. We're really going back and forth with each other. Like, I'm saying you have ego issues, but then here you are calling me out on mine, all of these things. And I was like, well, this has got to be my twin. But he was so stuck in his egotistical ways, and I was not, but his was in a different form. And then I realized that, wow, my gosh, like, I let go of all of the material control to physical things. Like, that was part of stage 1 that got me empowered. Finally realizing when we first came together that I had to let go of the material part, because I had before had where I didn't realize that I was associating, in fact, money with a material. Like, I was money and material things were like a form of love for me. So I was like manipulating and controlling and getting into these toxic situations and relationships with codependent issues, so I was like getting into toxic situations with like devil energy, because I was then using materialistic and money for justifying reasons for why I was there, and I didn't realize it. So when I finally tore that ego part down and let go of that emotional bond, that trauma bond that I had, and stop that narcissistic pattern, right? Where I was in that empath narcissistic paradigm loop, and I looped that around like 3 or 4 times, maybe more, I don't know. Because I think I did some of it with friendships too, because it was like when I was younger it was friendships, and then it went into like relationships. So it took me a long time to break that cycle. But then when I get together with my twin, right, and same way I feel, since I healed myself, he healed himself. And I was pretty sure it was my twin, but then I was still like starting to think he was narcissistic because he was so all about himself and all of that. But see, it was like there's a little bit of time, right? Like when the divine feminine gets triggered, it then triggers the masculine, right? But there's like a delay. So it was like, remember I said I triggered myself, right? I'm breaking free. I'm not going to let money or material things influence me anymore. And now I need to have control over myself. I need to know I'm enough. I need to pour that self-love into myself. I need to care about myself. I need to start doing things to make me feel good. Getting my nails done, getting my hair done, new wardrobe, new clothes, all of this. So I started that process, and it took 7 months. Then that's when my twin had came back around, right? I didn't know he was my twin then either, but even though I was opening up all of these gifts and getting the downloads that my twin is right there, all my cards are telling me, I was getting divine source, I still wasn't seeing him for that. But I still trusted, that the connection, I trusted my strongest gift that I had, my intuition and what I felt. And there was such a strong passion and bond that I knew that there was something special. And I had always thought he's definitely their past life soulmate, or if not, there's a significance here. So we pursued, our lives together. But over this past year, it was like, in the beginning, the first 6 months, like I had seen so much like love for himself. Like he was all into, loving himself, buying himself new clothes and caring about his appearance and making himself feel good and do all of these things. When I had seen it, I was like, wow, he really cares a lot about himself, and that's great. But I was starting to see, like, is that an ego? Because, some people that only care so much about themselves, it could kind of be egotistical, right? But now that I know, it's because, see, I triggered that in me, so it took like 6 to 7 months, and it triggered it in him. So that it caused him to go through that, and then, so that's why, but he got a little bit hung up there. So see, that's where I was to challenge him and stuff, and because it was kind of just like, he had went his whole life not caring a lot about those things, I feel, or having people kind of bring those down. Then when he got into that energy, like it felt so good that then he was caring about himself and stuff. But I would go back and forth with it, because I was like, well, he's very much not ego. He doesn't care about money because he'll just give anything to anybody. I'll watch him just give the rest of his money away, and and just doing so much for me and my children, and and just that I could see that money and material was not a thing. And I was like, so then it's about the appearance, but what is it? And all of that. And every single time, like, I would bring something to his attention, he'd change it. He'd make some sort of improvement. I remember thinking, like, wow, I have never had anybody in my life before that I try to tell something or call them out on it, them care so much to change it, and we see progress. And I've been paying more and more attention to our conversations back and forth and how much that duality is there. And I've always known that when you get together with your twin, it's just not like this perfect harmony. You're constantly going to be triggers for each other. But where I'm here to tell you guys that you have to be very, very careful, because we've got so much going on that it's like when you get into those lower vibrational energies, then you're coming down, then the devil can get control of your mind and impose that fear and flip things, and you not see them for as they are. And that control, that you have to keep your vibrations high. So it's really, really important that when you're in that low vibration energy, if you're angry, mad, sad, or any of that, it's better to not try to think about things. Just know you need to get out of that vibration before you start to evaluate and assess. Another very important message I have too is that, so when I was feeling this way, right, and I'm trying to go for guidance and everything. So I started to get into a lot of looking into tarot, trying to connect with other gifted souls and things like that, trying to get the guidance. And sometimes it'd be right on, but then I would get conflicting stuff, because some of us are going through different situations, right? And because I was going looking for it, kind of overindulging, then I felt the devil was kind of getting in, because it was turning into being something too toxic. I was kind of forcing to try to get answers and guidance instead of it letting it come to me naturally, right? So, what I'm getting for you guys is that you definitely have to not try too hard at these things. Like I was, and then I was trying to figure it out too much. I'm like, here I go again. Like I actually called myself out on it. I was like, I knew that part of what was delaying this twin flame coming together, the union, was me looking for it too much. I finally had to give up on it. because ever since when I was 30, like I was telling you, I started to find out about the twin flame, right? And along with my spirituality, so I known I'd had a twin, right? But I knew I was in karmic cycles, and when I got out of those, I was like, all right, well, my twin's definitely coming. And I even tried to manipulate it, right? Hold on, guys. I'm going to close my door because I hear my kids. Just a minute. Okay. So, what I was going to tell you guys is that I thought I could manipulate it a little bit, right, with my gifts. So I was like, all right, I'm so awakened now, and I'd already seen my manifestation ability starting to work, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start to manifest this then. I'm going to start saying that I want to attract somebody exactly like me. I want to attract somebody that is, just like me, and I don't want anything else. I've been through enough lessons. I don't want any more heartache. I don't want any more of that. I'll be damned if I attracted somebody, but because I had that vision, that mindset, like I really thought that this relationship that I attracted was my twin, right? It was not. It was more lessons, and if not, it was the most hardest karmic relationship that I have ever had. And it got me to where I actually felt as though my soul was in fact like I felt like I was dying inside, because, and it wasn't even that I thought that that I had found my twin and the mission was over and all of that. It was just, it really made me just I really had to find myself, again. There was just, even though it was like a repeat and I was starting to see it, I was just like, this pattern to me is exactly like my last relationship. It's the exact same thing. It's this control. They're all about themselves. That narcissistic paradigm is what I was in, right? I knew that. And maybe because I felt as though this soul was an energy vampire. So they were stealing my light, my energy, and that's probably what it was. And I wasn't replenishing myself, but I was trying. I was trying to cleanse my energy. I was trying to wear crystals for protection and focus on other things, but it was constantly a pull. Like, I've never had to feel so hard at getting out. Maybe this person, a lot of demonic detachments, because those things do happen. So maybe there was other factors. But I was just saying that I really got into a very, very dark place, and I was starting to feel as though I had no passions, no drive whatsoever. But that is then what saved me, actually. That karmic relationship actually saved my life, because it put me in such a place that I knew that I didn't want to keep going on if I couldn't reunite or get that my soul united again, that love, and to know to go after my passions and my drive. And when I started to feel that way, like I tried to heal, and I've come to find that you can push someone so much, and I can light work so much and try to get people so hard into to try to pursue them, to go after their passions and their dreams and raise their vibration, but you physically cannot get someone to do that. They have to do that, right? Because nobody can have control over your free will. It's your mind, right? Over your life, over your soul, over what you do. So I could not get this energy, and to just come out of this, right? So then I was like, well, I have to love myself. So I started to pull back all my energy that I could, and I was like, all right, well, I need to start getting into my passions. I need to find a way to start pursuing. Even though it was COVID, all that was going on, I was like, whatever. I need to find a way to pursue my dreams, because my dream always was to build a spiritual business and a practice. And I thought I'd work from home because I was a mom of 3. And that's when I started up the YouTube, right? I'm like, well, let me find a way out, right? So I had to change or whatever. So I started to build myself back up, and I got so much empowerment. Like, I didn't care about love anymore. I felt so good to be, I knew, all right, I'm going after my life path and purpose. I'm going after what I'm supposed to be doing. I always knew I was supposed to be doing something with tarot. I knew I had gifts. I knew I had so much guidance, so much help I wanted to give to people, right? So these karmic relationships are very, very important for you. There is soul contracts. A lot of times you've already had incarnations with these souls in other lifetimes. That's why there can be strong passion and connections, and you know each other. That's why you may then think sometimes these are your twins. And for a while I did, because I was like, wow, we got a lot in common, and wow, look at us talking in sync and things like that. Because it's in fact like when you're around someone long enough, you start to know them and interact with them, and you've got that telepathic communication that happens. So you guys will be thinking about the same sort of thing. So that carries over, right, in this lifetime. So a lot of times that's it. But it's like when you guys didn't have a situation that didn't work out in one lifetime, you come back in another, you know it didn't work out, and you tell each other, like, all right, we're going to teach each other these lessons so we can move on. And you already know what really your divine life path is and who you're supposed to be with and all of that. It's all part in the blueprint. But then we come down here and we forget because we have to find it all again. So anyways, and often what it does is there's a karmic contract on both ends. You're karmics for each other, right? And when one person learns or completes their contract, they can now be out of it. They can void out of it. So, that part's done. It's time for them to ascend to their next paradigm, right? If they've got another lesson to learn or whatever it may be. So, I learned, so I escaped. And a lot of times it takes one person getting out of that contract to trigger the other to then go and learn their part of the contract. So a lot of times you do have to then get out of these contracts because, the heart, the strongest lessons of all are taught through a heart, right? Through love and light. So it takes that getting broken open. It takes that getting your heart broken to, in fact, learn the lesson. So you need to really appreciate these karmic relationships that you have, because without them, you wouldn't be able to ascend. You just get stuck in those paradigms, and you're going to keep attracting the same cycle, the same relationship. So really, when you guys get free and you finally learn that lesson, you should have so much gratitude and so much love for that, and thankful love, platonic love, I guess, or whatever. I don't mean romantically, but very thankful for that person because they did their job. They served their contract. If it did, it got you. It served its contract. And like I said, just because you're in it, it don't teach for you necessarily. Like I told you, I went through 3 or 4, right? And my last karmic relationship taught me and saved my life. So, very, very beautiful. Story that I had never seen it that way before. So I felt that I needed to share that with somebody. All right. So like I said, you're not supposed to know who your twin is. Do not go, looking for it. And maybe what it was too is it was Source knew that I wanted to serve that mission more than anything. I wanted my twin, but I got tested the most. I had to find the most strength to stand up. It was everything. And maybe too is because it was I told you, my 3rd or 4th time. So Source was making it harder and harder each time. So it doesn't necessarily mean it was that person that was just more challenging than the one before. I don't think so. If anything, this one actually wasn't physical abusive, and I was in physical abusive relationships before. This karmic was never physical. It was only within the mind, right? So anyways, so I think that's why Source just told me to share that, is that it was because it was my 3rd round. So each time it's going to get harder and harder, right? And one of the biggest things that I had to learn, right, was not to be a people pleaser, right? And to reclaim my power back, and to stop thinking just because I had children that I had to give all of my energy to my children and none to myself, because we had a child together. And, so I was in that mindset of okay, we have to stay, we have a kid. And I was giving my power, and I was seeing life and everything all wrong, right? Okay. So that's what I have to share about that. So don't think you can just ask for your twin and you really have to detach. It's great to know that you're on this twin flame journey. It really is. But now you need to pull yourself back. That was just your confirmation to let you know you're on it, to let you know, yeah, you have this mission and you're a chosen one. So if you're investigating twin flames, if they're a strong interest for you, if you're watching this reading now, then you're definitely on one, right? But you got to now pull your energy back and know that it's about yourself. The same thing happened again, because like I said, then I was all focusing a lot on the twin, but then there was I was channeling a lot of messages that a lot are going to have a choice between a twin and a soulmate, and some are going to get a pick because some twins, the other half is just not going to open up and not going to awaken. And so you get to have a choice, in fact, as I was channeling that for a while, right? Because I didn't realize that what I was channeling was my own insecurities. I was thinking as though I had found my twin that was a false that I didn't know. And I was like, there's got to be another way. Because then in my cards, I was seeing that my twin was coming in and that it was, in fact, not, okay. So what I was saying is that there's a choice between a twin and soulmate, because in fact some twins have not triggered and have not learned their lessons, because I was seeing my twin come in because I was awakening so much. I was pulling my twin in and I was not realizing that I was with the false twin, that I was still in a karmic relationship. So all of that message, all the guidance that I was getting in, it was for me. But Source had me create the readings because they were for somebody, but I was giving it wrong. There was something I was doing that was wrong. Because guys, if one part learns the lessons and awaken, it's going to trigger the other. There's none of this. You awaken, so your twin does not, and some's too karmic to awaken. That's so false. And that's what I'm here I didn't even know this stuff, and it was because of the blocks, guys, and because of the spell work. I've been getting a lot of stuff finding out about spell work, and like I've always said, spell work is not real, all of that, unless you give it power, right? Well, I finally found the correlation to that and how it impacts you. If you're running from a low vibration, that is when that spell work can get in, because when you're running in fear, anxiety, and worry, which is what COVID did, because all this was going on during COVID, I felt like I was derailed because of COVID. Guys, it's so crazy. And that was part of the plan, to keep the 3D matrix going, by the way. Because I was starting to spiritually awaken, right? Get that empowerment when I started my channel 2 years ago. But it hung me up for like a whole nother year because of COVID. It's just crazy. So anyway, because what it is like I was doing the same thing, put mask on me, all my kids, protecting us everywhere we go. And then finally I had gotten a download one day. If you have faith in God to protect you, to keep you safe, you don't live in fear. What are you doing when you put a mask on your face? It's fear. You fear of getting sick. You fear of getting others sick. There's fear there. God's in control of everything. Everything. Everything's all part of a plan. It's already predetermined. Just because there's a virus going around, that is not going to mean it's going to alter what God has for your timing here on earth. That's already predetermined. I mean, yeah, you may get sick, and that's why I took the mask off. And guys probably got COVID 3 or 4 times. That virus is very real. Got over it. I didn't give it the fear. And you know what? I never even took medicine. I never once took medicine for it. No. What I did is I upped my juice intake. I got, like, instead of just having normally 1 or 2 bottles of juice, I got like 6 different types of juices, because I know juices are packed with all those vitamins and, natural antioxidants and all of that stuff. And it's easier to drink stuff instead of eating a bunch of fruits and stuff. But upping the fruit intake and the water intake to flush those out, to stay hydrated and get the rest. And we all overcame it. Right? Now you can do those things, of course, like you're sick and stuff, so self-isolate, stay away from people when you're sick and things like that, but it was always like the start of the school year, things like that, kids all getting around, and stuff like that. So, but we still were careful, keep our distance, and stuff away from others. But as far as putting that mask on and like going out in fear, like it didn't stop me from going out. If anything, I kept going out more and more and more, because I know I'm a light worker. And I go out into this world carrying the light, so I know I'm also an earth angel. I uplift people by being around them, and I'm like, here's COVID trying to keep me home, trying to keep me around. No. It also blocked my spiritual awakening, because see, when you're in this low vibrational energy, you got the fear and the worry. Then if people are projecting their doubts and their worries, because that's spell work, it's simply people gossiping about you and saying things. They're sending that energy your way. And if it's around you and you're not protecting it and repelling it, like sending it back to them with the evil eye pendants and all of that, then it, you give it the power when you're in that energy. Then you get the self-doubt and the confusion and the worry and all of that. So finally, it was maybe just last night, okay, I was like, you know what? Why am I focusing so much on this again? Because it was like me reading energy. I could read that my twin wasn't being honest with me, but I was reading the energy wrong. See, I don't like to pull cards. I will not go pull people's cards and do readings off of them without their permission. Like, I will not. Even if I want to know an answer, like, I want to know what's going on with my family member. Let's see here. No, I don't do that. I don't use any of my spiritual gifts for, to gain knowledge like that. Like, I was even hesitant at first at doing readings on myself, and now I know why. Because it's harder to see the different energies, because you're going to put them how you feel. It's just easier for an outsider to give you the reading. So, I mean, definitely do your energy is what you're tapping into. But you guys know half of what you're tapping into is your own story, especially if you're powerful. But it's important to share your story, right? So, anyways, like, what I'm getting at is I was getting misled so much because I was overly looking for guidance. There's so much wrong stuff about the twin flames, guys. Because I had seen one reader talking about how you have a choice between a soulmate and a twin. I mean, yeah, you very much do, because we have free will. So I know very much that, but I also have unfinished business with the soulmate, because we've never had closure. So I've always known that that's around me, and every time I get out of a relationship, there they are. And so I always know that that's in my energy. But for the longest time, like, I was always like, that could be my twin, or this could be my soul. But I didn't just realize, because you always do have these soulmates. You have higher vibrational soulmates. And I want to tell you guys, you can, in fact, be with a karmic. If you both learn that karmic lesson, you're not karmic for each other, and you can decide to stay together. You were past life lovers. You can choose to stay together in this lifetime if you want, and abandon the twin flame collective, because sometimes it just teaches you those lessons, and sometimes people do abandon them because they are a lot of work. They're constant, and especially when you start to go and have children, sometimes you just want to stay together. And if you've learned, that lesson, and you both can then come together and you've got children together, then why not let you have that beautiful family? Because love, I'm like getting emotional right now, because it's like, love is like the most important thing. So if you decide to opt out of this twin flame journey, because you had a child with a karmic, but you can learn that lesson and not be karmic for each other, you are carrying on serving a mission of love, right? But if you haven't, like I said, sometimes you have to pull away, right? You have to pull away, and it triggers the other person to then learn the lesson and learn. Maybe that's why they were telling me that is when there can be a choice between a soulmate and a twin. See, I get corrected when I mislabel things. Okay. So see, maybe that's why. But okay. Well, all right. Got it, Source. That's why they corrected me there. Because see, you can have a choice between a twin and another soulmate. Because remember, I said even karmics are soulmates. But it's a choice to abandon the mission, basically. Okay? It's not that your twin is never going to awaken. It's just you choose to abandon it knowing your twin did awaken or will. Because that's the only part I had wrong. Because if you do awaken, you are going to trigger your twin. And your twin it's going to be a delay. It's going to take them a little bit. However long. Like I said with my story, it took 7 months. Things worked in 7. Like, we had known each other 7 years when we first met. When we met through work. And, at that time, I was so far not seeing things because I had another soulmate in my life. And because I chose that soulmate over my twin, I actually got connected with my twin first. But then that soulmate came around, which I guess was a karmic, which in fact then saved my relationship with my twin. Because since I picked that relationship first, or pursuit, and got heartbroken, and it triggered me into others, they all taught me lessons along the path. And I'm so grateful and thankful for him, for every one of them, because they all taught me something. And if they didn't, me and my twin wouldn't have been able to work out, probably, wouldn't have been able, we might have been sad. Because sometimes so much stuff happens in some relationships, you feel as though you can't forgive your twin. There's some people that just, the wound is so much, the hurt is so much that they can't forgive. They don't want to. And they're not going to realize they're their twin, because you're not supposed to know who your twin is. So I'm here to tell you guys, for a lot of you, Like there's different flows of these. But for a lot of you, if you have somebody that you can't forgive, and you're like, well, that's not my twin, but they hurt me, they taught me, whatever, but you don't forgive them, you guys, that could very much be your twin. It could be for some of you, because you're not going to learn. You got to let go of everything, right? You got to let go of everything. So that first lesson didn't teach you. So either way, it's all very intricate. There's still a soulmate of yours. Probably a past life lover. If not, they all could be. So at least know that, you guys are supposed to teach each other lessons, right? In this 3D world. The temptation, the devil. A lot of times when we make these karmic decisions, or create this karma, we're running off devil energy too, off mind control of some sort of strong pull off the devil. That if we were in that high vibration love, it would have never happened in the first place. So maybe that could help you find forgiveness for them. So for some of you, you got to learn to let go too, and find that appreciation for that, for that situation or for that person somehow. And, that's going to help you. So yeah, you're not really supposed to know who your twin is, like I said, and I'm very thankful that I went down the path that I did. And so is he, because you never know how things are going to work out. And I'm going to tell you guys something else too, is with my last relationship, my last karmic, we'd had a child together. And like I said, the strongest thing for me, like I stayed in it longer because I'm like, well, we had a child together. And see, then I was abandoning my mission because when I started to finally see the patterns and the pulls, I'm like, no, this is a repeat. So this is definitely a karmic situation. I just thought God was like, give me another one, but not as bad, because this one wasn't physically abusive to me. But emotionally, internally, it was the strongest ever because it was the third one. But anyway, I had known that it was a karmic. So maybe that's why I felt as though my soul was dying, because I wasn't serving I knew that I was giving up on my twin flame journey. But I was still, like, I would tell myself, because it was never about, to me, love for this epic relationship, as though they put it. I knew that I want this hurt to stop, and I know how powerful when these unions come together, how powerful they anchor love out into the world. So that's why I was just like, God, I could heal so many people or whatever. So anyways, it was getting to me, right? But at the same time, I was like, the love is more important of my daughter. So I had to hang in there, right? So I did. And I was like, to me, having the love and, and children and all of that. So I stayed in it or whatever. But I tried for a whole nother year of trying to get my lover involved, right? Trying to get him involved in one. But he was just so lost and so broken. Like, he didn't want to be a part of his child's life. And that was a determining factor for me. And that is why I decided that, no, I need a better life for my daughter, for me, I can start to pursue my passions and my dream, my love, and I'm going to have so much love just, going after my passions. I'll be able to make up for that love, and I knew that, that was like my driving force, whatever, was her. And and that also helped me accept my last karmic relationship, to be so grateful and thankful, because she's also a rainbow child too. She's also a child that I got 7 years later after a loss of a child. So, I also knew too that I was like, I got my rainbow child. She's such a blessing and everything. I was like, how could I ever, look at this relationship other than, just, gift from God, or whatever. I thought that was like and it was so epic. Well, when I tell you guys, because I'm told to put my personal story out there, right? My twin flame. So my twin that I ended up coming together with, he had ended up having cancer. So we wouldn't have been able to have a child together. Okay. And I didn't know this. He didn't know this, but we went down our journeys and paths, and that's what had happened. And see, I was so broken. I was still broken with the loss of the child that I was going through, which is why I didn't want to pursue a new relationship. So that was the thing. So it was like, that's what I mean. It's so intricate. It's like God knew that I was so broken. I fully didn't release that till I got my rainbow. I was still broken inside. for the child that I had lost, right? I was carrying around that wound, and that wound was healed for me. That's what was brought my soul back to life, actually. Because I saw Paraplegic Source do that. It's so intricate, it really is. But I'm getting at it, so I was so broken about that, and now think about the other side of it. Children are everything to me. My twin very much wanted to have a family and have children, and that was a lot of his broken wounds, thinking he was not going to be able to have children. So us getting together, and he stepped in from day one. It was like a wish come true to have a beautiful little daughter that he could step in and help me raise. So we ended up having a child to be able to raise and have our family together. And he's been there every single day for her, since the day that we came together, and took in my other children, and has been helping heal, all of the wounds from them not having their fathers there, and all of the trauma, and it's just amazing. So God, really has a plan for it. It's all in divine timing. I need to tell you guys that. And you don't know why you're going to get put down a certain path, or why you're going to go through these things. But it's like you're always being looked out. You're always being really guided and protected. And these things are so intricate, and the healing that goes into them, the healing that you're putting out into the environment and into the people and into the things. I want to tell you too about so my karmic relationship, really what sent him into his strong depression too is I guess he had known that we weren't really a match, and he wasn't happy, and he had just known he had never wanted to have a child. That he wasn't going to be with that person and stuff. So it was kind of like he got to be set free of that and getting healed. It's going to push him down his pursuits to find his soulmate, and it's just and it's going to help him heal his family, I believe. And just the healing that goes out of these things is just so profound. It's so amazing. But you're not supposed to know, because you have to find it all from within, right? And I'm going to stop there because I'm 36 minutes in now. I need to go get a drink, check on my kids. But it's just, there's so much awakening to these. You really just got to surrender. You got to be led and guided. I was told today that I channel so much stuff in the gifts that I have that I don't even need to use the cards. And I've been realizing that my last couple of readings, I pull out cards to use, or tarot, and I'm just channeling and giving so much enlightenment with the messages that I'm receiving that it takes up my time. So, but this is definitely enlightenment for you guys. You got to give up on looking for that twin flame journey. And I meant to tell you that that's what I said a couple nights ago, is I was like, why am I reading energy so much? Because I was reading energy and I was seeing it as people were lying to me or deceiving me because I feel their energy was off. But it was really because there's just still some wounds and some fear that I was feeling. So I was misreading this energy. And I was like, oh, they have to be karmic, then it's got to not be right. And I was getting to, in my head, it was pulling me from my past. So I was guided to readings that autoplay. That's what I know Source has got me. Or I move over and my hand or my arm bumps the video and it comes up. I always know all right, I was bumped off of the one I was listening to or whatever, because it's not in alignment. So pay attention. Your spirit guides know how to work with you. And they know for me that when something autoplays or gets picked, or one of my kids come and hit something, that's meant for me. And I got guided to the message that, yep, I need to stop reading into this energy too much. I'm reading it wrong sometimes. I'm not even realizing that I'm doing it, because like I said, I don't divinationally try to read the energy, but it's if somebody is talking to me about something and I feel something's off, then I would feel like I have to find out what's going on. What are they hiding? So I got the confirmation to stop doing that because I was reading at it wrong. So then that is what ultimately saved me, and it really did, because I was like, all right, so I need to go back to what I'm feeling, that I'm exactly where I am, twin or not. If this is my twin or a soulmate or even another karmic, it doesn't matter. He's spiritually ascending me, and I'm in such a happy place that I'm going to keep pursuing my mission. And then I was guided to another reading that gave me the crystal clear clarity on everything. So I definitely got, and this is the confirmation that I was looking for the whole past year. And it was just, it explained everything to me, because I knew that the source knew that I finally hit that place where I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who my twin is, what it's at. It's about love. It's about, I know I'm fully aligned with my passion, my dreams. I know that I feel this amount of love. I'm in this pure energy of euphoria, like heaven on earth, happiness, 5D Christ consciousness. I finally got there. And that's what we are doing. We're awakening, and we're enlightening. We're carrying this enlightenment. We are awakening the masses. We are spreading. So I've been seeing so many chosen ones starting to rise and come up. So many of us are aligning, and that's why I feel I'm finding a lot of people too that I couldn't find before. And maybe it's because they were protected, because I was getting pushed and pulled, because I've got energies around me that are constantly testing me. So but anyway, it was just so beautiful. So in divine timing, source protects you, guides you, and so anyways, that's what I had for you guys. I know that this reading is going to reach whoever needs this confirmation, whoever this is going to give guidance to. That's why whatever you're feeling called to do, step up at this time and do it. Source, you're chosen for a reason. You have a gift. In this reading that I got to, just this reader, it was just like an art that I was watching, watching them, just how beautiful. And that happened with another reader too. I had to tell her, like, wow, it was just so beautiful watching, because it's everything. It's just the energy level that you feel, and the messages and the enlightenment, along with just, because everybody's so unique, and they have such a talent and a gifts on the way that they relate to energy, and the way they can explain it, and their thoughts and perception. You can tell the messages. I can, anyways, all these gifts. I can see, the messages that are coming in, and how they're interpreting them into their own words. That's what I mean. It's just like, it's alchemy. Like, some of you may be a tarot reader yourself, or you're just like, yeah, I'm a divine channeler, and I know I got it. But what you don't realize is, some of you, it's such an art, because yes, you are getting the messages, but it's the way that you're receiving the messages and the downloads, and you're putting them into your own perspective. And then, even though you do channel the information, you'll then put what you think together, and that's where I'm watching just this alchemy get created in front of my eyes, and it is just so beautiful. It's just, so you really need to, whatever your calling is, whatever you're being guided to share, everybody's mission's different. Like, I know that I'm supposed to be sharing my personal experiences, that it's going to relate to people, and it's going to help people. So if you feel to put your situations that have happened to you, like, I get nudged, but I'm like, tell them about this. I'm like, all right, I will. So listen to your spirit guides. Like, I was told for a while that I was sugarcoating, or I was giving these readings, but I was holding back my power, because I would feel those nudges, and I'd be like, no, I'm not ready to tell them about my personal life, or what if my exes are still watching me, and I want to talk about a situation, and I don't want them to watch it or hear it or whatever. So don't second guess yourself. If it's fear holding your gift back, whatever it may be, don't do it. Just go with the flow, right? Because everybody's stepping their power. It's so beautiful. Everybody has such a unique talent and gift. Like, you don't even know who it's going to inspire. All right. That's what I had for you guys. Love and light to you all. Definitely shine out, shine up. Let's unite. Let's change this world. Bye, guys.